Well, it's not every day you get to sit down with someone and talk about culture, especially engaging culture. Well, this morning I'm here with Travis Greene. Good morning.
Hey, my friend.
Man, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm hanging.
Yeah. You've been doing this now for over a decade.
Yeah.
You talked about the first 7 years
Yeah.
was hard.
Yeah.
It wasn't until intentional hit that, you were known.
Yeah.
How did you survive the first 7 years?
At the grace.
Yeah.
That's like my answer for everything. Just kind of staying locked into vision, to what God said. There was a knowing. For me, it wasn't really a belief. It was a knowing. Like, I knew what was going to happen. People ask all the time, like, are you shocked by what's happened? I'm not. I knew it, from an early age. It was just a matter of time. I knew, almost 10 years ago when the, Passion Conference, when I was sitting at my house
watching it.
And Warner Robins, I was watching on a little small TV. It was when I first got turned on to Passion, and Christian was singing Jesus Paid It All, and Tomlin was singing, and Crowder was singing, and Matt and all these guys, and Charlie Hall, and I was sitting there, and Christy Knuckles, and I was sitting there, and I was watching, I was like, one day I'm going to be on that stage.
You knew that then?
I knew it then.
Back in 2010?
Earlier than that. Yeah, it was like, this was probably 2008. Yeah, I knew it. For sure. I just knew it. I just knew it. I can't explain it. It was just, I was like, one day. And that was my first exposure to CCM. I didn't know anything about CCM before that. Passion introduced me.
Because you were doing gospel.
Full on, full throttle. It was John P. Key. It was
the guitar, by the way. You're doing gospel.
I didn't even pick up the guitar yet. I picked up the guitar after I watched that video.
Okay, so rewind here a little bit here, because we're here to talk about music and stuff, and of course we're here at Passion City, obviously, this morning. Well, obviously we're here at Passion City this morning because we're going to go on tour with them. Yeah. But you didn't start picking up the guitar until...
After that, yeah. My father played, so there was a guitar at my mother's house, an acoustic, and but I didn't play at all, zero. None. I played keyboard my entire life, piano, and then after I watched this video, I was like, well, that looks cool. So let me learn how to play guitar.
So 7.5 years ago, you did not know how to play the guitar.
Yeah, well, I mean, this was over 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
This was, like I said, it's probably 2008, at least. Maybe, no, it's probably even 2007. It was 2007, actually.
So you didn't know how to play guitar?
No, not at all.
So you see Passion, the people, Passion music playing, and you go, okay, I've got to do this, and God speaks to you and goes, hey, you're going to be here one of these days. Of course, we're here in the studios here at Passion. Is it surreal being here this morning? Yeah,
now that I kind of talk it out, I didn't think about that all day until now. But
I'm sorry.
No, I mean, it's actually really what happened. I saw them, I saw the video, I saw, Israel, and I loved what Israel did, Israel holding it, and I was just like, well, that just looks cool, so I'm going to learn how to play. And I picked up my father's guitar, and I put lotion on my fingers so I didn't get them all hard and nasty. And I just...
The rest is history,
I practice every day, and, it just kind of grew on me. And that's literally what happened.
Now, is this your first time being here?
No, I've been here
before. Okay. Yeah. Tell me this, a couple more questions. The road to getting here to Passion.
Yeah.
How did you guys connect? What was that like? You knew God had told you, hey, you're going to be here, so it wasn't a surprise. What was that road like getting here, though?
Well, I mean, it's a lot. I mean, that's a 2-day conversation without me taking any break.
No.
So it was a long road. I think it was, for me, there was a season in my life when being here would have defined me. So just this moment would have been like, oh snap, I would have had to, be all over social media. I would have had to, it would have been the highlight of my life, And not to downplay the significance of this, it's super cool. Yeah. But my motive
would have been different.
Yeah, and there was a season where I wanted to be known. I wanted to be seen. It was more about me than about God. God was a vehicle for me to get to a platform, you know. And not to say I didn't love him. I loved him, but I wanted what he had for me. And if you're not careful, sometimes you can replace the presence of God with the presence of God, the gifts of God. And for me, that kind of started happening. And God loved me so much that he knew that with a heart like that, I wouldn't last. And getting there is easy. And that's why I tell young artists all the time. You're one song away from getting there. Getting there is easy. It's can you last when you're there? And the only way you can last is that you got to allow God to do surgery on you. Your gifts can take you to a place where your character can't keep you unless you allow God to do his work in you. And so that's what he did for me. And that was more or less, that's the summary of the path of getting here now. The connection with them happened. I don't know, they kind of caught wind of what I was doing. Pastor Louie and Shelly came out to my Atlanta show. I didn't even know it until afterward. And then there
they are. You're going, what are you doing here?
Well, I didn't see them. I found out afterward. They were there with hoodies on, apparently, in the back, just hanging out. And then Christian flew out to my Phoenix show just to hang out. And so we hung out there, and then, next thing I found out that I'm doing tour with them, so that's really cool.
Wow. Your songs, man, they seem to come from a very deep place.
Yeah.
Am I accurate with that?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, how do you get ready and geared up for an album?
Yeah.
What is that process like?
I'm always creating, and then I also have another really, it's the unfair advantage. It's a cheat code, man, because I'm a pastor, so I preach, every week. I may miss maximum 10 Sundays a year.
Okay.
So with that amount of content, I'm always thinking, I'm always creating, I'm always researching. So I just have a well. So I'm a melody away from being able to say anything because of the time I spend with God and because of the amount of effort I put into always preparing. And so that for me makes writing easy, so I don't have to, think or Google content.
Or go dig it up.
It's just there. It's there and ready. But before that, even before I was pastoring, most of the songs are written from just prayers, from prayer time with God, or just reflecting on what was specifically happening in a moment, of my life. The song Made a Way, who would have known it had the impact that it has? But, it was written because we were praying for God to make a way. I mean, my wife, was on bed rest for 2 months, and then they kept my son in the hospital, in the NICU for 2 months. Lost him while he was there, and then he came back alive. So it was just a whole, thing.
A lot going on there.
Yeah, so within this, spending a third of 2014, the third of that year in the hospital, literally doing all of that is when I wrote that song and wrote most of that album. So, I'm writing from
experiences
where I'm at, what's happening, how do I see God in those moments. And then much of this album, the newest album, Crossover, was written, probably 70% of them are just sermons that I preach, man. And literally it's just, seeing God in a different way through a message. And it's like, wow, I never really thought about it like that. And I just kind of wrote a song.
My favorite song, Make a Way, obviously. You do that all the time. But it seems like you have fun in this.
Yeah.
I heard you say recently that you were living the dream. You feel like you are in the dream.
Yeah.
Even on a Monday morning, like today, you still feel like you're living the dream. Still.
Yeah. My wife asked me, what does it feel like to kind of be in it,
Yeah.
Because it's something I dreamed for so long that I saw happening. It's weird, though, man. It's like when you get there, I don't know. I don't really take a lot of time to wow.
Let me take all this in. Let me write notes. Let me journal this. Yeah.
And I think if I do that, I'll mess it up. It's like someone asked Denzel about his walk. One time he was in an interview I watched, and it was like, your walk, let's talk about that. You got this special walk. And it was like, please, any question about that? He was like, he said, if I think about it, I'm going to mess it up. And I kind of think it's the same philosophy kind of with my life. Like, if I really take in what's happening, I think I might mess it up. Yeah, and so I don't even think about it, man. I just roll.
Wow. Last question. Engaging culture is?
Yeah. It is. It's engaging. The culture around us is moving upstream. It's shifting mindsets. It's confronting the ways of the world, and not in a negative way, not with a picket fence, not shouting at people, but just becoming the change. And then when people see that, they're like, oh wow, like I can wear jeans and still love God. You're like, yeah. I can laugh and still be a Christian. Yeah. They're like, oh wow, I thought I had to change who I was, and it's like, no, God will change the things about you that you've embraced. That's not you, but the real you, God loves, and He wants to use that. For me, I always kind of think of I think it was Michelangelo built, the statue of David, and I heard it said that after it was built, people asked him how did he do it, and he said, he walked up and he just saw a big stone, and he said everyone who was there with him saw a stone. He said, but he stared a little harder, and within the stone, he saw the statue.
Wow.
And the way to get to the statue was always there.
Yeah.
It just had stuff around it. And so he got there, and he sculpted it. He chipped off things, and then, behold, this beautiful statue. And it's the same thing that God does with us. And that's all I want to tell people. The real you is there. Just life experiences and pains and struggles have placed all this stuff around you that it ain't who you are. So let's get to that, and let's love you past your hurt so that the real you could come out.
I got to tell you, man, it's been surreal for us being here this morning. We walked in, this Christian Stanfield singing in the background, and other people kind of singing great songs, and you come walking in, and you become one of my favorite artists. And it's surreal being here at Passion, like we said earlier. There are all these great songs, and they're all praising God at the same time.
Yeah.
Man, thank you for your time
Thank
this
you,
morning.
This
I
awesome,
so
man.
appreciate it. I wish you well.
Thank you.
Man, thanks.